Hello, today we will be taking a look at Captury Live, and we will be learning how to export an animation properly that you can ingest inside Unreal or other applications like Unity by switching your export settings. We will start first in Captury, and then we will go into Unreal next. So right now we have a video clip with an animation of a performer, and I want to see this on a metahuman inside Unreal. There's a couple ways of doing this. You can do it either through live streaming the data, which means you're streaming data from Captury Live into Unreal. And by setting up a couple of animation blueprints, a couple of IKs, retargeters, you're able to apply that motion onto any avatar inside Unreal. If you decide to do more of a post workflow, where you want to export the animations, maybe possibly clean them up, or if you just want to bring them directly into Unreal, you will have to export the animations from Captury with the correct export settings. So right now, what we're going to do is we're going to export this animation. And I'm going to start with going to export and taking a look at my export settings. Now I have two tabs, record and export. If I go to record, it gives me at what fidelity I record my recordings in. JPEG quality 85%, queue size, max threads. These could all be adjusted based on your liking or based on your machine setup, but that's what I have at the moment. Under exports, we have something called presets. If you toggle that, you'll get a list of different types of presets needed for exports to your desired engines. In this case, we want to do Unreal, so we're going to go to Unreal. I'm going to open up the preset details. Open this up. And in here, what I'm seeing is, when I go to Unreal, changes things like my forward axes, my up axes, left-hand coordinate system, primary bone axes, secondary bone axes, all this, including being able to add a static bone. These are presets that are desirable for when you're using Unreal. So let's see if we go to Unity. It seems like a couple of things do change, like under primary bone axis, the secondary axis went to back instead of forward. You could customize these based on your likings, depending on how your skeleton and everything is set up. So in order for me to really kind of ensure that I have the right skeleton, I can go to Unreal, which will give me those settings, and I can export this FBX file. When I bring it into Unreal, I can bring it in without animation, so it stays in T-pose, or I can bring it into my delete all the animation and provide a character as a T-pose. That's what's going to be imported into Unreal, so then we can do the proper mapping. You don't have to do that. You can bring in your animation as is, and we can work with it that way. So I guess I can probably show both, but let me start off first with kind of how I want to do this. So I'm going to go ahead and export, go back to my settings, confirm that I am on Unreal, and save and re-export. What that does is it exports that FBX inside my shot. So when I go here, shot, my file manager. So now we're going to go ahead and bring in the FBX file. Now this is the Captury skeleton. This has no animation, so my character is in a T-pose. This is what I want. Reason being because this is how I'm going to transfer my animation to. I'm going to hook this one up to an IK rig. I'm going to hook this up to an animation blueprint. This is going to be my driver for whenever I need to stream motion capture or import animation data. So both of them in there. Next thing I want to do is right click on this and I want to create an IK rig. Let's go ahead and just kind of rename this a little bit just to give it a name. IK Captury 01. Let's see what it says. IK Captury 01 underscore Captury 1. I'll just add demo at the end. I'm going to open that up. If you're in 5.6, you can click the auto create retarget chains. Which what it does is it makes new chains here. You can create them manually by clicking add new chain. Choose the bone you want. But 5.6 made it easier just by clicking that, and considering this is a pretty standard rig, it's able to find right away what bones are what. I also like to add the auto create IK. Same thing, it just creates an IK, full body IK, so you can grab these points and pull them. I'm going to go ahead and hit save, and I'm going to close that. So far we've made an IK rig, and the next thing I want to do is right click, create animation blueprint. So animation blueprint, Captury demo. Open that up, and I'm going to right click, live link, close, and drag this, and from there I'm going to hit compile. In the future, what this is going to be used for is whenever I need to bring in any animation data from live streaming through Captury Live, I can bring it in through here and it'll transfer it to my animation, thus connecting my streaming mocap over. But for now, what we want to do is just get the animation to play here. So I think we have everything we need. Next thing I want to do is also go into my metahumans. I'm going to choose Ada. I'm going to go into her body, which is right here. I'm going to right click and I'm going to go ahead and also create an IK rig. I'm going to double click it. I want to see I want to see the bones, so I'm going to go to hierarchy, all hierarchy. And I'm going to do the same thing, auto create chains, and auto create IK. The one thing that I like to do is just that it also creates a chain for the root, which I don't really like to use, so I just delete that, and I hit save. Alright, so now we have an IK for that one, as well as now also an IK for this one. Next thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and right click on this and create IK retargeter. So in here, I'm going to bring in the Ada, this IK rig, which I'm also going to give it a unique name. Let's call it the Captury demo. Alright, so I'm going to go back to my retargeter. And here you're going to see the Captury demo skeleton loaded with its skeleton. On the bottom is going to be our target. This is where I'm going to want to add the Ada Captury demo, which is this body here. And her body, which is just the geometry of her hands. Now that they're both there, I'm going to start making sure that all of the additional things I need are correct. First thing I want to do is get the character in a T-pose to match the same as the capture skeleton. Next thing I like to go is to the OP stack to confirm everything is here. If anything, you can always delete them. You can always create default ones. As long as these are pointing to the correct, like hip and pelvis, from one performer to the other. Retarget chains, as long as those look correct, like they're retargeting from the spine chains, so on and so on. If you do get some weirdness on the metacarpals, just make sure not to have anything on metacarpals. So here we have ring. I'm going to do none because there's no metacarpals coming from the Captury system. Okay, so now that we have this, let's go ahead and confirm IKs are correct. Root motion, remap curves. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and save. So now our retargeter should look correct. Okay, so now we have, just to confirm, we open this up. We have it matching 1-to-1. We don't have any animations, but we're going to go ahead and start with our animation that we brought in. So I'm going to go to the animation tab, and we are going to load that animation that was exported from Captury inside the Captury folder. I'm going to drag that file in. It's going to ask me for a couple things. All I really want is just the animation. So I'm going to say import only animation. Skeleton I want to use is the Captury, the one that we generated. So I believe it had like Captury 01. Yeah, this is it. And then I'm going to say import. And now it brings in the animation. Let's take a look at it. So it looks to be correct. Nothing looks incorrect on the animation. It's using the skeleton that we imported as a default, like we created, and now the animation's on there. So now that we have that, we're going to go back to Captury Demo. And I'm going to open this up. Now we're going to see a Captury, we're going to see the animation here, the Captury animation that we had. So I'm going to select it. And now we should see our character performing, being retargeted to the rig. I'm going to click Export Animations. So I'm going to go ahead and put them in my animation folder, export. Now that we have that, I'm going to close this. And then the next thing I want to do is I want to take a look at the animation. So the animation's here. Now I want to see it on my main character, Ada. So I'm going to go ahead and go here. Go to her animation blueprint. Okay, now that we have Ada's performer here, I'm going to go to the animation. I'm going to go to her character, go to the body. We're going to use an animation asset, and we're going to select the one that we just got. So I believe, since I did not name it, let's take a look at what it's called. Go ahead and rename it. Let's call it Captury Demo. And then here, I'm going to load Captury Demo animation. And I'm going to go ahead and hit simulate. And I should see the character animation on my performer. hit stop. Now that's how we would do animation. So then moving forward, whenever you import any animations, just bring in the character and always use that skeleton. And it'll always apply to the character correctly. Now, if you wanted to live stream this, let's go back to our Captury demo. We did create an animation blueprint. So let's test that out. I'm going to go ahead and open up Captury and let my animation play. Then I'm going to go to Windows, Virtual Production Live Link. I'm going to add my Captury source. This is where you would put your IP of your machine. From there on, you can see I have my unknown animation. Next, I'm going to open up my animation blueprint. I'm going to go here and I'm going to source unknown. Hit compile. Yes. Now you can see it in the preview here playing. So now that it's playing, I'm going to bring it in just because I want to see it in my scene. And the next thing I want to do is get this on the character. So now that that's there, I'm going to go back to here, Ada. And I'm going to bring in a brand new blueprint. And with that blueprint, I'm going to go to add, and I'm going to add a retarget component. I'm going to source the Captury demo skeleton as my main, and I'm going to control the body of Ada 2 with the Captury demo retargeter. Let's go ahead and hit play. And now we're live streaming from Captury Live into here on the left, and the Ada in the center, the one I have selected here, is using the mocap data from the recordings. So in this demo, what we showcased is the ability to live stream from Captury into Unreal using retargeting onto a metahuman, or exporting Captury animation, bringing it into Unreal, and applying it to a metahuman via retargeter. Thank you.